Here we have a 1998 Australian Kookaburra, and this one is actually my favorite. Well, the favorite one that I own personally is this one. This 1998 Kookaburra. It's really cool. I really like this design for one reason. The obverse, which has the young Queen Elizabeth, the sexy Queen Elizabeth, and um, I really like this design. They used this obverse until 1999, actually, and then they switched it to an older, different portrait of her. But I like this one, and this one it just looks a lot better because they messed around with the scaling a little bit. Got my fingerprints up there, but as compared to some of the other ones, the portrait's a little smaller here, and the border a little wider, and it makes it look a lot better. I really like this coin. This is my favorite Kookaburra, and it has a Queen Elizabeth, Australia, and dollar down at the bottom, and the dotted border. They changed all of that when they changed the portrait in '99. So it's slightly different. You would only really notice if you had two to compare side by side, and that's really the only reason I noticed it myself. But that's pretty much all there is to that. In the reverse, it has the Kookaburra, and the border is really full. It has a lot going on there. Australia Kookaburra on the top, 1 ounce 999 silver, and then the year on the bottom. And I like this Kookaburra because it has, the flat finish in the background, and it has a bird. He's just sitting on the fence chilling, and it's simple. And I don't know, I just like it for some reason. And I like the Kookaburras in general because they change the reverse every year, so that makes them really collectible. And another thing, really the thing I like the most about the Kookaburras is not only they change the reverse every year, but if you look at like a 2012 Kookaburra and look at this one, they almost look like two different birds. But the fact is that there's 5 species of Kookaburra, and it seems like the coins sometimes they'll have a different species on it. And the thing is, they don't specify what species they're going for or what species they're putting on the coin. But I think you might have to be like a bird expert or whatever to know, or just really do some research, and you could probably figure it out just from 5 different species. But for some reason they don't specify that. But I like things like that, and I noticed that. And this is a different species. But the kookaburras in general are pretty badass birds. I was looking, and they're pretty big. I didn't know that they're about from a foot to a foot and a half long. That's pretty damn big for a bird, and they're carnivorous. They eat like lizards and other birds. They eat snakes. Like kookaburras are badass birds. I didn't know that. In the wild, they can live for up to 20 years, and in zoos probably longer. But the thing that I thought was funny, well, not funny, but in zoos they feed them dead birds. Like if some birds die from some other birds, they just feed them to the kookaburras, which I thought was very interesting. So I mean, that made me when I saw that made me like kookaburras even more. Like they're badass birds, and they're big. Like the way they're depicted in these coins, it kind of makes them look like I thought they were like the size of sparrows. The little brown birds, little sparrows, or even pigeons. But they're big. They bigger than that. Kookaburras are badass. They'll kick a pigeon's ass and eat them. But and what else? This coin, 1998 Kookaburra, had a mintage of 92,902 two coins. But recently there's been a flood of these older Kookaburras have been flooding the market, and that's because they've gone back and reminted all the Kookaburras that didn't reach their mintage cap of 300,000. because back in the 90s, you know, the bullion market wasn't as big as it is now, and the demand for these coins wasn't as high. So, you know, people probably didn't know as much about them either, because, you know, the internet wasn't what it was today. They're Australian coins, and they just started getting minted in 1990. So, you know, they didn't really sell that much. So they minted a lot less than where they capped it. So they've been going back and reminting them. So, which is how I was able to get this one. You know, if it wasn't on the market, they didn't remint them, I probably wouldn't have been able to afford one. So I got this for pretty cheap, mid-30s. I don't really remember. I have to go and look at my receipts. But that's, you know, which is fine. You know, it kind of hurts the value, you know, for people that have been collecting them before. All of a sudden, Perth Mint does this, and it kills the value of their set. But that just comes with the territory. But I still like them. Whenever I get a chance, whenever I, you know, get a chance to snatch up a Kookaburra for cheap, I snatch it up. But there it is, 1998 Kookaburra. My favorite Kookaburra, favorite Kookaburra that I own. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe, like, and rate this review.